All right, Stephen Arroyo sending in a letter for the Information Act request. We're trying to access the Sentinel files from FOIA requests in the FBI's Sentinel system. It's a prohibited access list, and we're really trying to dig in right now. Um, every request that we put in have come up for negative results. Nobody's answering us. They've been ignoring our FOIA requests, so I'm sending another letter. Hopefully, the other 1,000 TIs are sending in as well. My name is Stephen Arroyo. October 31st, 2025. I'm going to be reading the excerpts of what I'm sending in right now. I'm going to put it priority mail, prioritize it so I can send it, have a documented number so that I know when it arrives, so that I can share it with lawyer Anna Toledo as well as the other people involved with the campaigns. So, October 31st, Stephen Arroyo, metalsmovers@gmail.com, 889 Worthington Street, Apartment 3, Springfield, Massachusetts, and my phone number is 413-796-4307. And this is Federal Bureau of Investigation, Freedom of Information Office, CO, Office of Information Policy, U.S. Department of Justice, Record Information and Decimation Section at 200 Constitution Drive, Winchester, Virginia, 22602. And dear sirs, I, Stephen Arroyo, this letter constitutes a request under the Privacy Act, Freedom of Information Act, 5 U.S.C. 552 on behalf of the undersigned Stephen Arroyo. Born in 1986, I specifically request that you include a search of all your files and the restricted access files and prohibited access files within the Sentinel system I was just mentioning. So I specifically request that you abstain from the practice of implement by former Director Michael Siddell of obstruction the production of records as a former FOIA office director, falsely classifying and exempted documents those that are not. There is no FOIA exemptions for the records that prove government corruption and crimes. Excuse me. The record requested may be associated with the following variations of her name or of his or her name, identifying information. All right, yeah. So I think there was a little bit of tampering with. As soon as I brought up my lettering, they deleted he and replaced it with her before the printing of my letter. So here is where they tampered with my paperwork to type her as he, clearly. And I'm going to have to make a correction with that. Sorry about that. All right, so his name, identifying information: Stephen Arroyo, Stephen Emilio Arroyo, Stephen E. Arroyo, metalsmovers.com, Stephen Arroyo82@yahoo.com, and my last digits of my social security. To ensure you respond thoroughly, and aside from the current address at the top of this letter, the physical address associated with requesters are following, and that address is our 444 Essex Street, Lynn, Massachusetts, 01905, which was well over a decade ago. 90 Maple Street, Springfield, Massachusetts, Apartment 3, 01105, and 5 Rockdale Ave, Lynn, Massachusetts, 01915, where this all started in, I believe, late 2009, early 2010. So number 2 is definitions. The term's record is to liberally constructed to include any 1 sound or voice recording, photographs or images, PNG, JPG, JPEG, TIF, or any other photograph formats. 3 is video. 4 text messages. 5 mobile web app messages from application sections known as Messenger, WhatsApp, Signal, Telegram, etc., Facebook, Twitter. Number 6 is emails. Number 7 is web page and blog captures and archives. Number 8 is paper, computer, phone, or digital files. Number 9 is spreadsheet. Number 10 is paper. Number 11 is microfilm. Number 12 is digital archives. Number 13, x-rays or imaging. Number 14, recorded conversations or audio messages. Number 15, document or any other format where the information sought may be stored. The term record included both principal records responsive to the request, as well as any studies, exhibits, supporting documentation, or supplement thereof. Number 3 is records requested. I request the production of a copy of the following records relating to Stephen Arroyo, including all the varieties of his or her identifying information set forth in Section 1 above, and all correspondence, including criminal complaints and prior Freedom of Information Acts requested by Stephen Arroyo to the FBI. Number 2, all responses for the FBI to all correspondence, criminal complaints, and Freedom of Information Acts requested by Stephen Arroyo. All Article 3 court and or fees applications and warrants renewals obtained and executed against Stephen Arroyo from January 2009 until December 31st, 2024. And in every record generated as a result of each one, including but not limited to the inventory of the surveillance carried out and a summary of each, included the affidavit in support of documentation submitted in support for each section of 702 FISA application and the testimony of the persons and submitted each one of the FISA court. So 4 is all photographs, videos, images, or any other media depicting the image of Stephen Arroyo or his or her body or part thereof from 1/1/2009 authorized by him or her or not. So all voice or sound recordings, this is number 5, all voice or sound recordings, including the actual reproduced voice of Stephen Arroyo that were made with or without his or her knowledge or consent. Number 5, all voice or sound recordings, including the actual or reproduced voice of Stephen Arroyo that were made with or without knowledge or consent. Oh, I read that again, sorry. All sneak and peek warrants issued, requested, and or executed against Stephen Arroyo's property or within his or her property included all records generated as a result of each one, included but not limited to inventory of items seized, date, place, and current custodian thereof for each one, and all 7 is all FD 930 or Viper nominations forms filled out and submitted nomination Stephen Arroyo to the Terror Screening Database and any of the change or status within. Number 8, complete expense records and ledgers reflecting expenses, payments, fees, purchases, professional services paid, or any disbursement carried out in the matter relating to Stephen Arroyo. Number 9 is inventory and chain of custody of records of all property records documented, seized, stolen, or removed from Stephen Arroyo's property or vehicles with or without an Article 3 court warrant. And number 10, all geofencing warrant and renewals obtained for Stephen Arroyo or any of his or her known aliases, and all records generated as a result of each one up to included December 31st, 2024. Number 12 is all communications relating to processing of the FOIA request with any within or outside of the FBI. Number 13 is records, correspondence, or communications to and from any person, including confidential human sources related to Stephen Arroyo or any of his or her known aliases with anyone. Number 14, inventory of property seized from, occupied, removed from, or otherwise taken from Stephen Arroyo or any of his or her residences or vehicles at the behest of the agency and contractors. So number 15 is records obtained from any Stephen Arroyo's computers, phones, emails, and social media accounts, web or smartphone applications or phone. Number 16 is records of payment, bartering, financial contribution, check-ins, money orders, bank transfers, gift donations, or any other kind of economic transactions made by any person, corporation, research institution, or organization, including the United States government, compensation for payments for any surveillance, physical harm, stalking, or harassment. So this is services, medical procedures, veterinary actions against his or her pets, public relations campaigns, implanted medical devices, planted honeypots, and or data harvesting relating to Stephen Arroyo. Number 17 is all physical or electronic correspondence, footage, photographs, reports, communications, documents with any other member of state, territorial or federal judiciary, or public or private law enforcement or security company regarding Stephen Arroyo. Number 18, all physical, electronic, or document conversations, documented instructions, or any kind of communications with the official from state or federal judiciary, United States Probation Office, United States Marshal Officers, IRS, or any other federal agents relating to Stephen Arroyo, his or her children, his or her property and profession. Number 19, all assessments made about or relating to Stephen Arroyo. All records regarding repairs, vandalism, sabotaging, or payments made in connection to Stephen Arroyo's vehicles. Any other document in your possession or that of third party that you know of that relates to Stephen Arroyo or his or her property. And number 22 is all reports, emails, text messages, recording videos, images, or any kind of recordings regarding to monitoring Stephen Arroyo, formerly Twitter, now X accounts under the handles Emilio Iron, Iron Emilio, including monitoring logs, correspondence, emails, and communications from Twitter, X, for also Facebook connected to Stephen Arroyo, email Stephen Arroyo82 at yahoo.com and metasmovers@gmail.com. And as you know, the FOIA requests agencies to release the information unless it is specifically exempt from disclosure, and also requires agencies to release all reasonable, searchable, non-exempt portions of the documents, i.e. to redact exempt portions of documents and the release of the rest. And you could see 5 U.S.C. 552A8. And for document you know exists but do not have, please provide the name of the agency, the contact information as to request from it. And request for free waiver. And the undersigned hereby request a fee waiver for search, review, and duplication fees on the grounds of disclosure of the quest records and the public interest, because it is likely significant contribute to public understanding of the operations or activities of the government and is not primarily in the commercial interest of the requester. So C5 USC S 552A4 4 III. See also 22 CFR 17117A 28 CFR 1611K 32 CFR 286.28D 32 CFR 1913B2. Furthermore, a waiver of search and review fee is warranted in as much as the undersigned will report the results of this endeavor as a representative of the news media, and that the records are not sought for commercial use. C5 USC S552A4 27 C2 CFR SS 1900-02 H3 and 1913 I2. For any document you fail to produce, I request that you provide a Vaughan Index and declaration setting forth reasonable detailed explanations for each withheld document as to why it falls within any statutory exemption. See Vaughan versus Rosen 484F2 D820 DC circa 1973. The Vaughan statement must specify details about each document sender, recipient's date and time and subject. If you need to discuss the request to the undersigned, can be reached at 1413-769-4307. Thank you for your consideration of my request. Sincerely, Stephen Arroyo. Metals Movers, phone, metalsmovers@gmail.com, phone number 1413-769-4307, 889 Worthington Street, Springfield, Department 3, with the signature. And just like before, I'm going to be sending it in, and I am going to put it in an envelope, as well as another TI that I've actually had move in with me that I've been helping out, Josie Santiago. Her and my girlfriend are actually in the other room. We have her letter set. She just didn't want to be on camera. She's a little bit worried about perps figuring out her identity and her not be able to travel as freely. So I'm speaking in regards for her right now that she is sending the same exact letter. We're going to be going down to the post office and send a priority mail so that we could get hers and mine in. We had our emails sent into the FBI office as well. I'm going to be documenting the online FOIA requests that we sent in, as well as the mail, and I'm going to take each document, I'm going to put it into an email file, and I'm going to be sending it to Anna Toledo. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. And have a good day, everybody.